black boy in the body of a man. The more arrests you make, the safer society becomes. It took me 2 decades to figure out that he lied to me. I am a Detroit police homicide detective. It's 2019. I'm in Des Plaines, Illinois, attending a conference on force science. Force science is the study of what happens to all of us when we are involved in life-threatening situations. When we are in life-threatening situations, we can only focus on the one thing that will kill us. Our minds won't allow us to see anything else. Imagine being at the bus stop where you are robbed at gunpoint. And when the police arrive, they ask you to describe the gunman, but you are only able to describe the gun. Stress affects how and why we remember things. But I'm curious to see how this training will help me better investigate cases where police shoot civilians and civilians shoot the police. It's the first day of class. My chest is tight like it is now, and I'm anxious. I enter the classroom, and I see a sea of white faces who pause their conversations to stare back at me. I feel unwelcome. I search the space for a face like mine. She smiles and offers my partner and I seats nearest her. A short old white man walks into the room. All side conversations stop. Everyone takes their seats. He is the psychologist leading the conference. He welcomes us and mocks the execution of Eric Garner at the hands of the New York City Police Department, all in the same breath. Most of the class laughs, but I'm afraid, thinking, did he just say that? And I'm looking around the room, and nobody's reacting the way that I'm reacting. Nobody's saying the things that I'm saying. This old man also goes on to say that he testifies as an expert on behalf of police who injure or kill civilians. Next, our first instructor begins to show video of police shooting civilians and civilians shooting the police. In most of the videos, the civilians are brown or black, like me. I'm furious. My partner says, you're overreacting. No, I'm not. I'm not. I look around the classroom again. Nobody white, nobody black, seems to be affected by what they just saw on the first break. I rush up to the front of the classroom and I ask the instructor, why are you presenting this material in such a biased way? I'm not a racist, he says. I didn't say you were a racist. And as this human being begins to turn every shade of purple that I've never seen on a man or a woman or a baby, he mounts his defense. These are the best videos we have available. I counter. Some of these videos are 10 years old. With body-worn cameras and surveillance footage, new content is being created every day to support your teaching. I return to my seat more furious than before. Next, we're shown a reenactment of an American citizen in Ireland who gets into a shootout with the police in Ireland. And the American citizen is played by a black man. I get it now. You want us to be afraid of people who look like me. This is dangerous. Throughout the conference, the instructors encourage us to ask questions. And one by one, white hands go up around the room like popcorn hitting the lid. the instructors have no problem answering their non-confrontational questions, so I figure why not? And I raise my hand, and it stays there until my arm gets heavy and tired. Finally, the instructor calls on me, and I ask him, why are you contradicting material we've already been presented? I'm thinking this training is bullshit. And as he begins to shout me down, I feel like what he's actually saying is none of you black people better not ask any more questions. This Wednesday night, my colleagues and I, some white, some black, are studying for the upcoming exam in the hotel dining room when the feeble, old, white psychologist walks over with the biggest smile on his face and he says, I hope you are studying really hard. Tomorrow, we're going to go over the Malice Green case. For those of you that don't know, Malice Green was a black man who was beaten to death with a flashlight by Detroit police officers in 1992. My colleague next to me said, I knew Malice and his family. I can't wait to see what you present. The next day, a large white woman stood in the center of the classroom in front of a podium. Her laptop was open. She was supposed to present the Malice Green case, but she did not. She looked down at her laptop and I could see the Eric Garner execution thumbnail ready to press play. She looked up in my direction and said, I'm sorry, we are going to have to skip that one. When I left that place, I was terrified. When I got back to my hotel room, I packed my bags, I sat on my bed, and I cried. When I got home, I went to see Chief Craig. I told him of my experience. He asked me if I was willing to write it down, so I did. An investigation was opened. And at the conclusion of that investigation, it was determined that no other Detroit police officer will attend this training. They were supposed to be teaching us to be better investigators. But I learned why I should be more afraid of the police. But I am the police. So why was I so afraid? Since 2019, I managed to conquer that fear by educating myself. And I now understand that most of the world's fear of us is based upon stories that were written about us that we did not author. I teach young people to tell their stories because I believe that no one should be able to tell your story better than you. We have been at the mercy of old, white men with pens in their pockets and cameras around their necks since our ancestors were first brought here from a homeland that many of us have never seen, but we feel a deep connection to. Controlling one's own narrative holds a freeing power, and it is time that we took that power back. Thank you.
Khary Mason, everybody. Khary Mason.